So, what happens when the universe itself breaks its own rules? Today, we're going to dive into this incredible parable about a warrior, the one and only Red Sonja, who lived her entire life by a single, ruthless law of cosmic justice. That is, until the day the whole system just glitched.
I want you to imagine a world that's built on just one unwavering principle: balance. For Sonja, this wasn't some abstract philosophy. It was physics. The world was definitely cruel, no doubt about it, but it was certain. Every single action had a consequence, and in that brutal, perfect predictability, there was a really strange kind of comfort.
At the very heart of this reality was something called the Great Cosmic Balance. You can think of it like a giant scale that measured absolutely everything. Every breath you took, every step you made, every life that was taken. And this wasn't a metaphor. It was the fundamental law of existence, a machine that guaranteed every single debt would eventually get paid, whether in gold, blood, or bone.
Okay, so how do you even survive in a world that's run by a machine like that? Well, if you're a warrior like Red Sonja, you don't just live by the law, you build your entire life's code around it. In a world full of chaos, the balance was the only thing she could ever really trust. This right here, this reframes the whole idea of morality. For Sonja, honor had nothing to do with being virtuous. It was about bookkeeping, a meticulous, brutal kind of accounting to make sure her cosmic ledger was always balanced. Every scar she got was just an entry. Every victory, a debt paid off, clean and simple. To really get a handle on her world, we've got to look at its programming, the specific rules of what you might call its moral physics. The core concept is something called Newtonian consequence. Yeah, just like in our physics, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. The difference here is that the reactions are moral, and they're always tangible. You take a life is owed. You steal some gold, that value has to be repaid. It's simple, it's direct, and there's absolutely no escaping it. So these are the 5 pillars that hold the whole system up. You've got reciprocity, where every single action demands a reaction. You have obligation, which is a real, tangible weight on your soul. Then there's value, measured in steel and gold. Auditing, where this cosmic system is literally tracking every soul's ledger. And finally, determinism, a life that is brutal for sure, but perfectly, absolutely predictable.
Ultimately, the entire universe was just a machine, a colossal ticking clock where every single soul was a tracked asset. Every choice was just the turn of a gear, and every debt was a recorded tick. There was just no way to escape the mechanism.
But what happens when that perfect ticking clock runs into something that, well, it just doesn't compute? What happens when an unbreakable system breaks?
It all starts right here. Sonja is fighting this creature made of living ink. When she kills it, there's no body, no soul, nothing the balance can actually measure. The ink gets absorbed by her sword, creating a kind of debt that the system literally cannot process. For the very first time, a transaction goes completely unrecorded, and the great machine, it shudders.
And then comes the second crack in the system. A man owes Sonja his life, a huge, tangible debt. But instead of paying her back, he just hands her a worthless old root and walks away. The law of reciprocity is completely broken, and the balance does nothing. The universe just fails to respond.
Can you imagine what's going through Sonja's head? She can feel the weight of this unpaid debt, this cosmic error, pressing on her like a physical stone. But the universe, this great machine she has trusted her entire life, is totally silent. It has no answer for this glitch in its own system.
So, faced with this cosmic silence, Sonja does something completely radical. She stops waiting around for the system to fix itself and starts her own dangerous experiment, to intentionally defy the very laws that made her who she is. And she tests this machine so methodically. Each action is a direct challenge to a pillar of her reality. Giving charity breaks the law of reciprocity. Showing mercy breaks the law of payment. Gaining something without a cost breaks the law of value. She is pulling every single lever, just trying to force a response.
The result is, well, it's staggering. It's nothing. Absolutely nothing happens. The sky doesn't fall, the universe doesn't strike her down. The system, this supposedly absolute law of reality, just creaks. It proves that the machine wasn't nearly as all-powerful as everyone believed.
And this leads to this really profound shift. The weight she feels isn't that familiar burden of debt anymore. It's something brand new, and in some ways it's even heavier. It's the terrifying but liberating weight of choice in a universe that doesn't have absolute rules.
This realization brings Sanja to her final confrontation, and it's not with some monster or a powerful king, but with the very idea of the balance itself, the law that had defined her entire existence.
She goes back to the heart of the system, to the place where the cosmic scale is said to touch the Earth. And there, she does something deeply symbolic. She plants her sword, the same sword that drank the unrecordable ink, and just burns that cosmic debt away, forcing the screaming machine to finally let it go.
And in that moment, she's not speaking to a god. She's speaking to the world itself. She acknowledges the system that shaped her, the very thing that gave her strength and discipline, but she declares her independence from it. The laws are a tool, she realizes, not a master. So this is her new philosophy. It isn't about smashing the system, it's about transcending it. She'll still interact with the old laws, sure, but on her own terms. Honor is now a choice, not an obligation. Mercy and death are now tools that she wields by her own will, not payments demanded by some cosmic machine. And the world doesn't change. The great clock of cause and effect keeps on ticking for everybody else. But Sanja has found a way to step outside of its grinding gears. She is no longer subject to its absolute mechanical authority.
And this brings us to the final, really powerful moral of the whole parable. True freedom, real rebellion, isn't about anarchy or destruction. It's about mastery. It's about understanding the rules of the game so profoundly that you are no longer bound by them.
Which, of course, leaves us with a question. We might not live in a world with cosmic scales, but we are all governed by systems, unseen rules, expectations. So, what are the laws that define your world? And what would it really take for you to step beyond them?